Good. Well, Happy New Year. It's January 7th and our first meeting of 2021. And I hope you're looking forward to a brighter future with the 2 coronaviruses vaccines rolling out. And I'm your president, Janelle Voorhees, in case you didn't know. We have a full and fun meeting for you today, so don't go away. So let's get started. The past year has been unusual with all the changes caused by not being able to meet in person. We all agree on that, right? Arranging a meeting on Zoom takes a lot more time and energy than having our face-to-face meetings at the Vets Memorial Building. For example, I would normally say, okay, committee reports, line up, and you'd speak into the microphone and give your report. Now, most of them videotape their presentations ahead of time. They have to be formatted. Some are too large to send over the internet, so they have to go a different direction, different formatting in order to be sent over the internet. And then Ann will get them or Linda will get it, and then they have to do their magic. And then a full script and agenda has to be written. So it takes a lot more time, but I wanted to thank all of you who facilitate getting all this information to us so that we can have a nice meeting. And a huge thank you to Ann Nolan and her Zoom team doing everything that's needed in order to get us on Zoom meetings. And Linda Hooper for all of her work getting show and tell and other special videos set up for Zoom and displayed on our website, our srqg.org website. And of course, to all the committee chairs and participants that take the time to prepare their presentations. And some of them even do it live, which is great too. But what great ideas we get from our studio tours. Everybody like the studio tours? Let's move on. We've got an election of officers. Every January, we call upon the Guild to welcome our board and committee chairs and hold an election of officers for the executive board. The Guild needs approval and a consensus of the membership attending this meeting in order to vote the vote to be ratified. Remember that your vote is anonymous and the votes are tallied electronically. Here are the names of those who have volunteered either by office or invitation to be on the executive board for 2021. President, me, Vice President, Jan Nielsen, Secretary, Jan Andrews, Treasurer, Carol Belkey, Program Chair, Bonnie Butler-Sabov. Program Chair-elect is vacant at the moment. So if you're interested, give me a call after the meeting. Thanks. Parliamentarian, Jim Jensen. Members at large are Tony Anderson, Elena Colburn, Vicki David, Highway Midarai, Margot Pitter, and Mary Wood. Ann Nolan will present the voting tool or poll on your screen, and the voting poll allows you to select one of 3 options. Yes, I approve of the executive board slated for 2021, or no, I do not approve of the executive board slated for 2021, or no thanks, I am not a member, or I am abstaining at this time. So the voting poll will display in a few seconds and Ann will talk you through it. You'll have 1 minute to vote. So Ann, you want to take it away?
Okay, I'm hitting it now. You should get a pop-up on your screen and you can select your choice and hit enter or submit. I'm not sure what your button's going to say. So if everyone could do that now, I'm going to give you 1 minute and then we'll close it. All right, everyone should see it as a pop-up. You say, yes, I approve the board as it stands, or no, I don't approve, or I'm either not a member or I want to abstain from voting. And you should be seeing, you may be seeing the poll results. Okay, they're coming in here. And make sure you hit the submit button or it doesn't go in.
I don't have a submit button on my screen.
It should be at the bottom. You might have to scroll down.
It says in polls, what it says.
Chris must be here. There's one no vote.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be Chris.
we're going to vote him into an office sometime.
Good luck catching them.
And he'll probably vote yes instead of no.
Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and share the result. I'm going to go ahead and share the results right now. Uh-oh, it's saying my internet's unstable. I just love that. School must be in session.
Oh.
Okay. So we didn't have a large number of votes, and we may have had some tech problems, but it's saying 97% approved, but it's showing only 34 people voted. So there may have been some problems like Janelle mentioned where they couldn't see the submit button.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to move on, and we'll talk afterwards about how we're going to deal with that problem. So.
Okay, let's move on. Can everybody hear me? Am I back on?
Yes, you are on.
Thank you. Committee chairs are appointed by your president. The list of committee chairs slated for 2021 are shown in the Santa Rosa Quilt Guild Stitch in Times newsletter every month. And we keep those updated if we have to have, if somebody moves away and they have a replacement. So the best thing to do, since you're, otherwise we'd be popping around trying to find you on the screen, is to check your newsletter. I'm forcing you to read those newsletters because they're fabulous. You can visit our newsletters on the srqg.org website and select newsletter from the menu bar on the left side of the screen that you see when you first log in. Thank you, Jim Jensen, for creating our newsletters. They have been incredible and very newsworthy. And I absolutely love the section on Remember Me. Very, very informative. And read the newsletters cover to cover because you will learn a lot. Committee reports. We'll start. I keep seeing this thing on my screen. I'll get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. If you have the poll still showing, touch or click on the screen and it should go away.
Perfect. Show and tell. Let's take a look at the beautiful quilts that were completed this month.
Okay, I'm setting it up here. Oh dear. Okay, so.
Oh my, that was spectacular.
Mm.
Oh, was that a real animal on that quilt, Marianne here? The one that went, ah, it looked real. Beautiful. Thank you, Linda Hooper, for putting it all together and for
Yeah,
everybody
awesome.
who participated and turned in their quilts. That's a hard act to follow, all of them. Placemats. Our guild is incredible. Let's hear from our placemat expert, Barbara Cordelou.
Good morning, Santa Rosa Quilters. This is Barbara Cordelou. I've been in charge of placemats for the Sonoma County Council on Aging's Meals on Wheels program. And this is, I think, our third year. And I'm in my messy garage, so please excuse any mess that you see around. I have been taking very good care of the placemats, and I appreciate all the work that went into them. We have approximately 387 placemats to turn in this afternoon, and I want to thank you all very, very much. And I just thought I would give you a brief view of some of the placemats, all of the placemats that have been turned in. I can't unfortunately do all 300 and whatever of them, but I thought I could give you an idea of some of the things that have been turned in. As you know, I gave kits out earlier in the year. Haven't been able to do much of that this year, but you've all managed to come up with your own interpretations, and I appreciate it very much. I'm trying not to make you dizzy if I'm walking around. It's still December. You're not going to see this video till January, and it'll be 2021, and hopefully we'll all be safe and things will be looking brighter. These gingerbread placemats are kind of special because they came from a friend. She's not even a member of our guild. The woman who made these placemats is in her 90s, and she normally makes community quilts for Queen of the Valley Hospital in Napa. They are not accepting the baby blankets at this time. So her friend, who is a member of our guild, also I think she's a joint Napa Sonoma County Quilt Guild member, she mentioned it to her friend that we were doing this placemat project because it was kind of last minute. Anyhow, it perked up her friend, and she, within a week or two, had made 8 of these cute little gingerbread placemats. And I'm happy that she was able. She said that it really gave her something to do, and I know how much we've all needed that. This sewing has been a godsend for me, I know personally, and I hope for all of you. Anyway, I just think that's great, and I hope when I'm 90 I'm still sewing and enjoying it. Some of these quilts are placemats were made from orphan blocks that people had, and they made wonderful colorful placemats, and I'm just really excited to show them to you. There's one here I wanted to show you. It was suggested that people show placemats, use their quilting, practice quilting on placemats. And I think these are some really nice examples of them. I think there was a quilt book where they actually suggested that you do that. You make placemats and then do your free motion, practice your free motion quilting on them. This one is all K-facet fabrics. And she put them all, they all just blend together. I think that's it makes a beautiful composition. This one's really bright. Look at this cute little fox. I think I might have shown you that before. Got pumpkins. Got a little bit of everything. You've got all this purple. I know there's a lot of us that love purple right now. The beautiful red, white, and black. Morning glories. Fish. We've got everything. Anyway, again, just a few minutes to thank everybody for their participation, and we hope to see you safe and sound in 2021. Bye.
Thank you very much, Barbara. That was wonderful. What beautiful placemat. So thank you for everybody who participated. Sower Rows, we have a new Sower Row chair for 2021, Tony Anderson. So let's see the Sower Rows.
Hi, Tony Anderson here. I am the 2021 Sower Row Chair, and I wanted to give you just a brief description of what the Sower Row program is for those of you that haven't participated before, or those of you that are new in the past year. The Sower Rows start at the beginning of the year with what we call a start, and it's either one row or a medallion. And they turn that row or medallion into the committee, along with a little bit of fabric that they've used with this start. And the next person that adopts it will work on the next row or a frame around that medallion using some of the original fabric if they wish, or just contributing fabric of their own. And that goes around for a total of 5 rows or 5 rounds. And at the end of the year, we roll a dice to see who wins that particular Sower Row. So I'd like to show you what we're starting the year off with, and remind you that we have 9 Sower Rows from 2020 that still need to be completed. It was kind of a weird year, and we didn't get started until later in the year with some of these. So 9 need another row 2 or 3. So look online on our website for those, and I'd like to introduce you to the new ones. Here we go. So I'm introducing you to the brand new Sower Row starts for 2021. Number 21 is Springtime in Yellow. Number 22 is Van Gogh Love. Number 23 is Hues and Blues. Number 24, Vintage Sewing Room. Number 25 is Latitude for Attitude. Number 26 is Girlfriends for Life. And number 27 is No Rules. So first of all, I'd like to thank Elena Colburn for making all of these Sower Row starts except the last one, which I did. And I want to thank Margot Pitter and Jeannie Parent for being my partners in crime and helping me with logistics. Again, they were helpers last year and they continue to volunteer to do that, so I really appreciate them. And if you want to adopt any of these Sower Row starts or any of the 2020 Sower Rows that need to be finished up from last year, just give me a call or send me an email or drop me a note. Thanks.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Margot and Jeannie, for taking on Sew a Rose for 2021. I really appreciate it. Block of the month. Carol Lemoynier and Joni Bellinghausen have a new block of the month for January. And you know that Carol is never shy about anything. So let's see what Carol has to say.
Hello, everyone. This is Carol Lemoynier, one of the members of Block of the Month. Happy New Year. And I'm so glad that we are all together and it is the year 2021. So first, I'd like to introduce to you our theme for the year for Block of the Month. As you can tell, I'm wearing quite a bit of clothing and our theme is clothing. So throughout the year, we will be making blocks that either will feature a hat, or perhaps a scarf, or perhaps gloves. Though I don't know, that might be a hard block to make, but who knows? We might be doing coats, or perhaps a vest if we can embellish it, or perhaps a top. Hold on, I can't get my vest off. Or perhaps we will be doing a blouse. You know, we have 12 months, so I have to come up with 12 different, I and Joni have to come up with 12 different blocks, but there are a lot of things that we wear. Why, we wear shoes or slippers, we wear skirts or pants, or we wear shorts, and then we wear socks, and then we wear, well, I won't take off that, and we wear, you know what, underneath our t-shirt. So, and we wear lots of things in our hair, and we wear makeup, we wear jewelry, and who knows? We'll come up with 12 blocks throughout the year to make the block of the month. So I hope you will join us throughout this year. I hope we will be together at some point, and so we won't have to be doing these videos, and I can do this in person with Joni. I encourage you to make a block, keep it for yourself, do all 12 months, and then you'll have an entire wardrobe, and then make a lot of blocks each month so that you have a better chance to win. You can, after you make the block, mail it to me. I think one stamp would be good for one block, or you could keep them, and then at some point, probably after 3 months, you'll mail them to me or have them given to me somehow, and we will have a drawing in April and every other 3 months or something like that, until we're all together. Yay! So that's our theme for the year, and now I will introduce to you January's block. All right, now I'm going to introduce to you the January block of the month, and it is the scarf. That is always so important for January because it's supposed to be cold in January, but as we're taping this, it's a little warm. So here's the block, a very simple block with a light background, any color for the scarf, and the block is 12.5 by 12.5. I'll go with you the very simple steps that you need to do to make the block. First of all, I'll go through with you all of the pieces that you need. You need two 12.5 by 2.5 strips on both sides. You need 8.5 by 2.5. You need two 2.5-inch blocks, 4.5 and 8.5 by 2.5. Those are all of the pieces that you need. The method in which we do the scarf is the sew, cut, flip method. sew, cut, flip. You take your blocks, you draw a line diagonally, you sew it, you cut it, and then you flip it, and lo and behold, you have your neck. You add your tassels to it, so your tassel should be a different color, and you can do it like I did, or what Joni did is she actually added some yarn to her scarf. You've got your center, you add your neck to your center, and believe it or not, when you put your sides with your center, it equals 8.5 inch long. They all fit. The instructions on the website doesn't specifically tell you you have to sew the two sides to the center, but it's going to be obvious when you then put the top on and then you put your two sides that are 12.5. And lo and behold, that little piece right there turns into a very, very simple and lovely scarf for January. Make a lot. After I made this block, I thought to myself, gee, when you look at the block individually and then you put them together, maybe you're going to say, why would I want to win these blocks? They look like a bunch of ends. And lo and behold, I had a conversation with my best friend, Joanne Morrissey, and she called me and said, Carol, why do I want to make a whole bunch of scarves? What am I going to do with a whole bunch of scarves? I told her, I knew you were going to say that, but I'm here to tell you why you need to make a lot and you need to win these blocks. First of all, you've got the whole year to shop, and you're not limited by the stores in Sonoma. You can shop throughout the world, and you will be able to find a border that has scarves or wardrobes with you. And remember, you can also buy other, you may also win other blocks, and you could put the hat and the scarf and the gloves. Who knows how many you will win. So you can have lovely scarves and it looks just fine. Or you can be Nurse Nancy from New Mexico and you've got a signature block. Or you could be Ursula from the University of Utah, studying urology and married to Eugene. I know Eugene starts with an E. And so there you go. You've got that. Or you could be Carol, who's so cute, formerly from Cloverdale. And there you go. You've got another signature block. Or you could be clever and imaginative and modern, just think Tony Anderson and a lot of other quilters in our guild, and you can have white space in between, sashing in between, and actually, when you put them like this, they become kind of interesting. You could play with them, and you can have a lot of fun with these blocks. Your imagination is limited only by your imagination, and your imagination is not limited. Or you can add, like I said, another block that you've made in between each of them. So it's worth it. Play with it, have fun with it, make a lot, and I'll see you in February.
Thank you, Carol. That was exhausting. I've laughed so hard. It was great. Well, thank you, Carol and Joni. Okay, are you guys ready for membership? Jan Andrews from membership has an update for us. So take it away, Jan.
Go.
Hi, I'm Jan Andrews for membership, and I just wanted to remind everybody that you can still pay your dues. by January 31st in order to be listed in the membership roster. I really appreciate everyone who has paid already, but we still have a lot of people who haven't, and our expenses march on. So if you would send your check for $35 payable to SRQG to Santa Rosa Quilt Guild, P.O. Box 9251, Santa Rosa, California, 95405. Your whole guild would be very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And thank you for continually updating our roster. I really appreciate that. And when you see your name in the roster, you receive a roster, request one, look at it, because every once in a while there'll be a typo, and if it's in the number, you'll want to make sure and let Jan know so it can be accurate. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to our Home Alone Challenge with Tony Anderson. So let's hear from Tony again.
Hi, Tony Anderson here. Just a little update on our Home Alone Challenge. We had to change our format, as you know, to Zoom. And so here's what's going to happen. We are going to, at our first meeting in February, we will do the reveal and vote on the best entries for each category. And you have until January 31st to get your entries in, so there's still plenty of time. And you can enter more than one category, but you can only enter each category one time. We will be giving away gift certificates for this, and that's a way to support our local quilt stores. So I'm hoping you put your creative thinking caps on and get in some really fun stuff for our challenge. So just again, the categories are to create a poem about this novel experience in our life, create a 20 by 20 wonky 2-color original quilt, take a creative photo of yourself in your sequestered quilt room, take a photo of a collage that you've made from your sewing supplies, or take a photo of an accessory that you've made, like a scarf or a belt or something like that, that features a one-word description of what's going on with the pandemic in your life. So send all your pictures to Linda Hooper. Send the poem to Linda Hooper. She will put everything on the website so that you have an opportunity to view it before our meeting in February. Voting at the Zoom meeting will be done anonymously, so nobody will know who voted for what. And I'm so excited to see how all this turns out. Thank you so much for participating, and I hope we get to see each other in person soon.
Thank you, Tony. I'm looking forward to seeing all the entries. We still need someone to help out with technique sharing workshops. It's a fun job, and there are many members who can video a technique for us. I know that Linda Super Hooper has a few TSWs that can be shared, but if you would like to take over that position, please, please, please let me know after the meeting, and be able to help you any way I can. Thank you. So now we have the challenge that has been completed. It's the Something Quilted but Not a Quilt Challenge. Debbie Paris-Cole has been working on this all year. Each person has given a statement about the item and items they created, and they will be narrated during the presentation by Debbie. Pay attention as a creativity is inspiring. Let's view these incredible items and have Debbie talk about each one. Look at what she said.
Okay, so we're going to show the entries for the Quilted but Not a Quilt. The first one was Jan Westerman. Here is my quilted block made into a project bag. No pattern available, but plenty of tutorials found on FlossTube. FlossTube is a YouTube, oops, there we go. So that was Jan Westerman's entry. Judith Clark, this is a wrap I made for my husband for days when it's chilly in his office. I do sometimes borrow it. Elena Colburn, a bedspread from my mother I saved when she passed away. I made 6 bags from it for my family. Placemats I made for a birthday gift, and pillowcases I made for Christmas gifts. Mary Ann Hare. My entry is a needle-turn applique purse. I bought the pattern from Akimi Shibata at the Great Tokyo Quilt Show in January. Believe me, they take their purses seriously in Japan. Never saw so many purse vendors at a show before. Since the finishing, directions were in Japanese with no English available, even on the internet. Winged it, finished it, but I think it turned out okay. From Jan Andrews, this is a pattern called the Sew Together Bag by Sew Demented. This is a larger version of the bag shared by the Facebook group. I use it to carry all of my go-to sewing notions. I also have a smaller version that I use for my hand sewing supplies. Lolly Gannon. This is a purse I made from using fabric pieces that I found on the cast-off table. The foundation is a reusable shopping bag. Elaine Tucker. I decided to make an insulation cover for my 12-quart plastic bin for my sous vide cooking. Tried to make one myself without a pattern and soon realized that I needed more help than I thought. Without a pattern, and had to add to it as batting and Timtex took up more space than I anticipated. Made a plastic window to be able to check water level. Not perfect, but it works. Lorna Fiore. I have no pictures with me in the quilt project because I have already sent them off as Christmas gifts. The yellow one is the Ultimate Travel Bag and the pattern is by Annie Patterns. I got the pattern at Road to California Quilt Show. The blue one is an Executive Carryalls 2.0 pattern from by Annie Patterns. They were lots of work, but fun to make. Jana Ullman. This is a small rectangular bag that I made last spring based on a YouTube video that I watched about 1 million times. I thought it would be a handy thing to bring thread and notions into Quiltathon days. Remember how much fun those were? Sharon Fry, when you announced the theme for this year's Guild Challenge, many members came to me smiling, saying that they were betting that I would be making a wearable. Just to be contrary, I had to think of making something totally different. As with all of my projects during our COVID staycation, an additional personal challenge was to create something entirely with what I have in my atelier. When I spotted a friendship block that I had made a few years ago for a dear guild friend, I knew I had to use it in my challenge. Sadly, Linda died 5 months later on November 26. Jan Andrew, Joy McGuire, and I found the friendship blocks in Linda's studio after passing, and her husband asked that they be returned to their makers. Being our guild librarian, books are never far from my mind. I used the special block I created for Linda as the feature for a 10 3/4 by 11.5 3-ring memory book. I added every red heart-shaped button to Linda's block as part of the quilting. The back of the binder is filled with machine quilted hearts. Plastic pockets inside are being filled with quilt-related photos, notes from Quilt Guild friends, and little items reminding me of how special the Santa Rosa Quilt Guild is to me. Not by plan, I finished making the book cover on Thanksgiving, 4 years to the day after Linda had passed. Barbara Southard. Attached are my entries to Quilted But Not a Quilt. The first pattern is Road Trip Bag at www.byannie.com. The second two are from a pattern Ultimate Travel Bag, also from Annie. Sharon Oman, quilted table runner 60 inches long. I have the pattern Holidays. It has some sparkle fabric. Pam McVeigh. This is a purse I made by copying other purses I had and combining the features I liked best. No animals were harmed in making this. The cowhide is minky, the straps and bottom is cork. Laurel birch fabric is my favorite horse print. Janet Tonkin, my quilt that is not a quilt is just a bag. I love this fabric. My father was a rancher and one of the things he grew was oranges. The fabric shows pictures from orange crates. I made a big bag for my sister and one for me. The pattern was from Hoffman Fabric called Skyline's Big City Bag. The bag is extra big so I could use the maximum fabric. Letty Duenas. My husband's jeans are a work in progress, requiring additional patches constantly. My own pattern, warm and very soft. Brenda Cobrin, this is a tote from a kit I picked up somewhere along the line, maybe even at one of our guild silent auctions. The pattern is by Annie's Creative Quilters Fabric Club. It was missing one fat quarter, but I was able to find one that went well enough to complete the project. Candy Delgado, I made this table runner this summer while my husband and I sheltered in place in a cabin at Metolius River near Sisters, Oregon. My Christmas gift from him was registration for workshops and events at the Sisters Quilt Show. Even though it was canceled, just like every other thing in 2020, we drove there anyway. I'm so glad we did. I brought my sewing machine and everything I need to make this runner. I had a view of the river from where I worked. We walked along the river every morning. The pattern is called Simply a Pleasure by Nicole Chambers. Rhonda Denny. The crazy quilt was given to Rhonda by Christy Detweiler. Rhonda made her own cat pattern for a Snap Cat gift treat. The quilt was cut up to make the adorable cats, which were stuffed and also included organic cat treats. Debbie Ferris Cole, 2 entries. First, a see-through project bag that I love. I made 3 of them to hold works in progress. They are big enough to hold extra fabric, threads, stencils, binding, or whatever. The pattern is from www. So Can She by Carolyn Fairbanks Critchfield. The second is a little bird with quilted wings. The quilting was the easiest part. Okay, that concludes the show. I want to just thank everyone who participated. I'm just feel so rewarded by what everyone has done. And there was a committee set up to judge the entries for most creative or most useful. So we'll hear from the judges soon.
Thank you, Debbie. Let's see what Jan Nielsen has to report on the results from our panel of judges.
Hello, everyone. Well, as you can see from this array of entries, it was nearly impossible to decide. There were 3 of us, myself, Pam Brown, and Patty Bassignati, who looked these over and tried to decide. We had 4 prizes, 3 for most creative and 1 for most useful, and 2 honorable mentions. And I don't know if Debbie wants to show the prizes. Do you want to show the prizes, Debbie?
I don't think she has a way to do that.
Oh, she doesn't? She doesn't have them with her?
Oh,
No, I can't show them right now.
Oh, too bad. Okay.
I'll do it online.
Okay. So the prizes, let me just tell you, the prizes are a color coordinated group of fat quarters with some thread and a gift certificate to Village Sewing for the winners. And the honorable mention is also a gift certificate to Village Sewing. So I know some of you may not agree with what we came up with, but let me tell you, it was really hard, really, really hard. So what we thought in terms of, I don't know if we can show these again, but what, if you remember, for the most creative, we liked, these are 3 prizes for most creative. One, we thought Pam McVeigh's horse print purse was pretty creative. Very different fabrics, very different styling. and very interesting, very different. So Pam McVeigh won one of the prizes for that. And then in terms of other creative ones, Rhonda's Snap Cat gift treats were very, very different and very creative. Definitely using a quilt, but not making it into a quilt. And then the third one in that category was Debbie Ferris Cole's Bird with Quilted Wings. That was also a very different way of using quilting, but not a quilt. There were wonderful other travel bags and all kinds of other things, but the category was quilted, but not a quilt. So we went and thought, well, these were the things that were most different. And in terms of the honorable mention for quilted, but not a quilt, we liked Letty Duenas' patchwork on her jeans, her husband's jeans. It looked a lot like the stitching we saw in our session that we did. I can't remember the teacher's name, with the Japanese stitching and all of the patchwork. It was very, very different and very unusual. So we thought that was also very creative. And for most useful, we have one prize for most useful and one honorable mention. And of course, since we're all sewers, so many of these things were useful. All of the bags and all of the things that people made. But probably the thing we liked the best was the one that Jan Andrews did, that had all those little sections in it for taking to workshops. So her sewed together bag was our main prize for most useful. And then in terms of the second most useful, we had to go with Lorna Fiorni's travel bags. Her travel bags were really stunningly beautiful, and you could just see yourself taking them on tour somewhere. So that's our honorable mention for most useful. So I think the prizes are pretty spectacular. People put in so much work, and a lot of really beautiful and fabulous projects. So a great project. I don't know if any of the other judges want to say anything. Patty or Pam, do you want to say something?
They're all muted, so I'd have to.
Patty I don't know about Pam. Patty shook her head. I don't see Pam on my screen, so I don't know.
Here she is.
No.
I'll ask Pam to unmute and see if she wants to say anything.
No, it just was this is Pam. It was so hard. All of them were, all of them were wonderful, and all the bags were also useful and beautiful. We had a very, very hard time. So I hope no one's feelings are hurt. We certainly appreciated all the beautiful things that they made. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of work. Thank you, Debbie Ferris Cole, and thank you, Jan and Pam and Patty. You guys, that was awesome. Jan, did you ask to speak you wanted to say something?
Yes, I did. Well, January is when we give our previous year's president our president's gift.
Oh.
And so this year, we had to kind of really put our thinking caps on since we couldn't meet, and we just had a hard time figuring it out. But I think I delivered the gift to you yesterday. You can go ahead and open it. Show everybody what it looks like. And then I have a few, that's the bag.
And did everybody see?
That's fabulous.
This
Fabulous.
The quilt from the fabric that you guys gave me last year, plus the blocks that were given to me for my birthday. And I got it done. Oh,
Okay, so you can hold that up so everybody can see it. This is your card.
beautiful, beautiful
Okay,
card.
and then you can untie the bottom.
It's open here.
And let me just tell you, as you look at that, there are comments from people about their what they thought about you and what they felt about this year and how much you have really brought the guild together in a very trying time. My goodness, your first year of presidency, you had to find us a new place to be, to have our meetings. I don't know what's going to happen next year, Janelle, but this was really a challenge this year to have to figure out a way to how to keep the guild together and how to keep us carrying on. And several of the people commented about how much they appreciated your personal calls to them as we got sequestered, and your caring and your work on keeping it together. So as we thought about this, we decided this year we would contribute. That's the glue that held us together. We would contribute to what you have been working so hard on this year, your ranch. So when we heard you were thinking about maybe making a retreat center, we thought, well, maybe we can help you work on that, because, you know, we have no ulterior motives. Anyway, we decided to contribute financially. So enclosed, you will find Visa cards.
Oh my
And
God.
you will find, because we know you won't stop sewing, even though you keep working on your ranch, you will get gift cards to each of our local quilt shops. So you have continued creativity. And, you know, I don't know where you find the energy to do so much, to work on all the projects you have been doing up in Bernie and all your driving back and forth, and you keep quilting. So the Guild really wants to pay tribute to you and appreciate all of the things that you have done to keep us together this year. And hopefully you will spend it on things that will, you know, maybe tools, maybe projects up there, who knows, whatever you want. So enjoy.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, this is incredible. Just incredible. I can't even believe this. Oh my.
You can hold it up and show the Guild.
Okay, so you saw the cover. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, you'll have to read that later. Yeah, these are comments from people.
I'll read them later. Yeah, I'll have to read them, then I'll cry. And I love the glue bottle. I'll have to read that. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe the gift certificates. Oh my God. From Broadway Village, Bolt, Quilted Angel, and then gift cards. A lot of gift cards. Thank you. Oh my God, this is fabulous.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody in the Guild. Amazing.
Yeah.
Over
You're amazing. You're amazing. We couldn't have had a better president for this time.
Is everybody going, I'm glad I wasn't president this year?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or last. And you know, this is my last year because you term out after 3 years. So.
Well, we hope you won't have to deal with a major upheaval in 2021.
Yes, we're all going to get our shots when we're available, and we're all going to be safe, and we'll eventually get back together.
And then we will have one heck of a celebration.
Oh, yeah, I think we should start planning it now. We kind of planned it for last year, we were thinking that by November and December, we'd have a big celebration and then kaboom. So hopefully we can keep those plans going for next year, this year, the end of this year.
Yeah.
If not before, but thank you very much for putting this together. Oh my God, this is just beautiful. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I have to go. I've got my gift certificates. Okay, let's move on to program chair. Bonnie, why don't you tell us about some events that are coming up? So let's see some upcoming guest speakers and workshops. Well, I read this.
Okay, I'm fixing things here. Bye, Jan. Now we'll go to see Bonnie.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 2021. I'm your programs and workshop chairman for this year. We've picked a winning lineup of guest artists for our members, and hopefully some of these skills will be new to you and some will be refresher, but they're all going to be fun, okay? The coronavirus restrictions are still in place, so all of our workshops are going to be via Zoom with our coordinator, Ann Nolan, being our host. Some of the artists will do their own hosting for the lecture portion, and some will have Ann. So count on seeing Ann and a lot of her hosting emails, because she's going to be our guru. The COVID restrictions also are going to keep us from using Foursquare as our payment options. So we're not doing debit and credit cards. We're going back to the tried and true way of checks, okay? And you'll get me the checks, or I'll pick up the checks, or you'll mail the checks, whatever. I hold on to them and give them to Carol Belkey at the end when we know that the program is a go each month, okay? Any questions, give me a call, email me, text me, whatever, okay? Now, last June, when I was setting all of this stuff up, because it does take a year in advance, I did not book an artist for January, okay? Didn't know what we were gonna be doing, didn't know what I was doing, and got really scared. So Janelle has arranged to do a sewing rave for our program in January, and our artists now pick up in February, okay? For February, our artist is not unknown to many of you. She's nationally known, Sandra Mullen. Originally, she was going to do an in-person workshop on machine applique and hand applique, which she is absolutely fabulous at. But we did have to change it. It is now a Zoom presentation on raw edge applique. So Thursday, February 18th is her presentation, and it is via Zoom. Her title is Personal Journey from Traditional Applique and Piecing into Art Quilting. Some of you are already art quilters. Most of us know art quilting and are just totally blown away and scared to death of it, but she's so personable. We're going to love her presentation. The workshop is Friday, February 19th and Friday, March 5th, okay? 2 sessions, 2 hours each, not a third session. That was my mistake, okay? They're from 10 to 12. Again, Ann Nolan will be hosting and coordinating all of that part of it. The classes for both of them is $49.95. Sandra will be handling all of the money of this herself, okay? You don't have to send a check to me. We don't have to worry about all of that. She's got this down. This is not something new to her. There are 3 options for the patterns. It is a water lily pattern. You can go on her website, Sandra Mullen, MOLLON quilts.com, and you can see the picture, but Ann's also putting the picture up for you. Now that is option number 1. Option number 2 is you pick your own water lily picture. If you've got one, if you've got an art book, if you've got Monet's poster up on your wall, you can use any water lily you want, but it does need to be a water lily, okay? The pattern from her is 1995, but you don't have to use her pattern, okay? Option number 3, which is what I'm really excited about for Annie Donahue, who's already taken this water lily class. Option 3 is a second water lily pattern that she has just finished. It's a little larger, a little more involved, and it has a free water drop pattern that goes with it. Again, I think it's 1995, but I didn't clarify that this morning when I was talking to her. Or actually, you're seeing this on Thursday and I'm recording it on Wednesday. So this morning, Wednesday, I had my conversation with her. What you're going to do is you're going to register with me so that I know that we get at least 12 people for her class. We don't have to have 20. We only have to have 12. I will send her your email address. She will contact you directly and discuss with you the pattern. If you want to use her hand-dyed fabrics, she's going to make those available to us as well, additional cost. She's going to give you the supply list. And once she has your credit card or debit card number, she is going to give you lifetime rights to her YouTube video on Rod Edge Applique, which means for those of you, and we do have some members that can't wait, if you want to start early, you go for it. You got everything you need, the supply list and the video that you can start, okay? The rest of us need a little more hand holding. I'm going to start on the 19th, okay? Let's see, what else? Janice Ewell, you are registered, and so she will be contacting you soon. Now, this new pattern, she has a couple of more hours work to do on the instructions for it. The pattern's made, the picture's made, but the instructions, she has a couple more things that she needs to do. So she's not putting that on the website yet, and she's not sending me the instructions yet. As soon as I get them, both of them, and she's sending them together, Water Lily 1 and Water Lily 2, I will send it out via Sharon Fry on communications, and then you tell her when you're talking to her which pattern you want, okay? So you don't have to register immediately because you're going to want to see this. And she has promised it to me, at least the pictures, as soon as possible. So I'm expecting them next week, all right? And she's very, very good. They're going to be here next week, okay? Let's see, what else? Second class, as I said, March 5th, also Zoom, also 10 to 12. Those are for those of us who need critique or help with the pattern or the technique, to show off our finished work, because there are going to be some of you out there that are finished, you know, won't be me. And that's the 2 classes, okay? Okay. Close date. The closing date to register is January 18th. I have to have documented 12 people. All right. You don't have to have paid by then because she hasn't contacted you, but you got to commit to me by Monday, January 18th. Got it? Questions? Call me, text me, whatever. Now for March, we have Lisa Thorpe. Many of you have taken classes from Lisa. She's based in Healdsburg. She is the Bishop's Ranch resident artist, but she is moving, okay? She's moving off of Bishop Ranch, probably because COVID restrictions, she hasn't been able to hold classes. Lisa is also skilled at Zoom, okay? But again, Ann Nolan is our host and will handle the chats, okay? So watch for that, and we'll be sending you the links. The presentation from Lisa on Thursday the 18th is photo transfer to fabric. Now, some of you know how to do that. Me, no, I don't know, want to know. So that's something I'm really excited about as well, to learn that technique. And her class is fabric embellishments. It does require her kit. So the class workshop is $40. You'll pay that to me via check. The kit is $25. Again, check made out to Lisa. You'll pay it to me. Now, Lisa's kits should arrive to me the middle of this month. I will let Sharon know, and she'll send out a notice that we've got the kits. And you can either pick it up from me, we can do, you know, social distancing, mask, all that, or I can pick it up from you and deliver, you know, whatever works for you is fine with me. I'm in Oakmont. That's not convenient to some of you. I can come out, okay? So $40 for Lisa's class on, it's called Bird in a Box. Again, fabric embellishment. There were 6 of us who toured her workshop. I put that in the newsletter. We were so excited about this. I mean, you know, you're going, Bird in a Box, wow. Really, it's going to be great. So I encourage you to do that. And I've used up my time, so more to come next month about upcoming artists. But we've got Bargello, we've got miniatures, we've got all sorts of good things. And questions, if you need me ahead of time, call me, text me, email me. I'm here. Thank you.
And Bonnie, I'm going to go ahead and show the pictures that go with what you've been talking about real quick.
Okay.
You want to tell us about this picture?
All righty. This is Sandra Mullen. This is another one of her raw edge appliques. This is the elephant. She did offer that to us, but when she went into what's involved, it was like, oh my God, no, not for the first one, okay? So if you want to take her elephant class, after you've done her water lily class, you will have had the basics, you'll know the technique, and you'll be able to do that class. Next picture, water lily. This is option 1. This is the traditional water lily she's using. The next water lily, I haven't seen the picture yet, but it's supposedly spectacular as well. And again, it has a water drop free pattern that goes with option number 2. And then next picture. This is Lisa Thorpe in her studio. She looks very much the same, longer hair, but very dynamic speaker, very engaging, knows her stuff. And she is a multimedia artist. So she does a lot of different things besides just fabric. So we're lucky to get her as well.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. That was very informative. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach Bonnie. She's in the roster. And let's move on to Mystery Quilt with Carol Belkey. Take it away, Carol.
I unmuted myself, Anne.
Good.
I actually found the button. The mystery quilt this year is a quilt that I have made as a mystery with another guild back in Ohio. It was a lot of fun, and it's ideal for scraps. The largest pieces of fabric that you'll need will be the backgrounds. So you could use any color, tone on tone, by yardage if you want to the amount of about 6 yards. This is a larger quilt. It's not a throw size quilt. It's more of a twin size quilt. I know I've had one person call and ask if the blocks for the 9 patch could be made a little smaller. Of course they can be. I don't know what the quilt would look like. I can't envision it in my mind, and hopefully I'll get back into my sewing area in the next couple of days and give it a try. but basically the project is every month you'll get a 9-patch layout from me, which would be the place where the placement of the background blocks are, and then you fill the rest of the 9-patch with your scraps, or if you want to use a theme such as Christmas. I'm doing batiks because I have a huge box of batiks that's just sitting there, and that's just criminal to have it sitting there and not being used. So mine is this one that I'm going to be doing right along with you is in batik, but you can do anything with it. It really looks gorgeous in scrap. Every color of the rainbow, every print, big print, little print. If it's ugly fabric, cut it into 3.5 inches. You'll never find that was an ugly print. And through both the newsletter and an email from me once a month, I'll tell you the layout of the 9-patch and how many of them to make. And then you'll tag them as, for the example, block number 1 that I'll be sending out today. You'll make 10 of them. You'll make 10 of the same particular format. You just put a little note on it that said, this is block number 2. The reason you're going to need to label your blocks as you make them by the number is when I do the layout, you'll know where to place it. So it's not, you're not doing them in any order. You can't put them on a design wall and try. You can put it on a design wall and try and figure it out, but you're not going to be able to figure it out until you have made all the blocks, or at least one of them, to try and put it together. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think if the size, the 3.5-inch size makes a long twin size quilt. Betty Upchurch has already quilted mine. She didn't know she quilted a mystery quilt, and she can't remember. I don't think she can remember it. But anyway, I have it out on the end of my bed, and it just makes me smile when I see it. So hopefully you'll be enticed to want to give this a try. And that's the end of my live broadcast. If anybody has any questions, just drop me a note, give me a call, email me, and Sharon, heads up, I'll be sending you the instructions and the more detail in an email today. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you
very much. That was great. I'm looking forward to actually, hopefully, being able to sew with you. Now for one of my favorite guild showings is our sewing room tour. This month's tour is presented by our own Diana Cotting. So please play our Studio on Tour video today.
Okay.
Hi, Santa Rosa Quilt Guild members. This is Diana Cotting, and I'm inviting you into my workspace where I make my creations. So as we come into the room, this portion of the room is our office, well, mostly my husband's office. And then when we go a little bit further back, I share the room with the dogs. They have their crates and their little safety zone. I share the room with the cat, and this is where he eats. So it's kind of, you know, everybody has their little spot in this area, but I have this lovely spot where I do my sewing. This quilt I made close to 30 years ago, and I quilted it all by hand a long time ago, and I used it, and then I finally decided just to put it up on the wall so I could look at it. This quilt here was made by my grandmother for me when I was a little girl, so it's 50 years old or more, and it's been falling apart, and I pieced it back together. This quilt here is a quilt I made out of jeans here in the last few years, and I have also in my room, I have some of my stained glass, because this used to be my stained glass studio. And when I filled up most of the windows I could in the house with stained glass, I transitioned to the sewing room when I got a new sewing machine. So these are just a few pieces that I have here. I have other pieces of stained glass in other locations. I have my oil lamp here that we got at a estate sale, and I got that because my grandfather bought one for my grandmother years ago as an anniversary gift, and it just kind of tickled me. So I've always had a fondness for these silly lamps. So that's one more of the things I have in my little space that bring me happiness. I have my armoire here that I have a little stash. I don't have a lot, but in comparison to some of you other ladies. But I have my fabric stash. I also have some projects started and set aside here. This is the project that I just got, the quilt of the month that I got. These are the little snow people that I made that Betty Upchurch showed us. This is a wall hanging. I have some beautiful silk pieces in here that a dear friend used to work on a cruise line, and when she traveled, she bought this beautiful silk. So I do have a project started with that tucked in another drawer down here. I have my practice sandwiches for free motion quilting that I can't seem to quite get very good at. So that quite often when I'm working in here, I'll leave those doors open so I can look at the colors in there. And when you come around here, this is my sewing machine, my sewing table that I got from Liz McDonald, and I love it. It's just perfect for my little spot here. This is also my office over here, so I usually do all of my office work and whatnot here. This is my workbench. Hanging up over here, aside from the threads and whatnot, these are projects that I have in mind that I want to do or have done. This fabric that I have laid out here with all these bright colors, I have that laid out. I hope to make a jewel box quilt in these colors. As you'll see around the room, I have a number of items that mean a lot to me. They don't have value except to me. I did mosaics for quite a while with some of my scraps from the stained glass. So I have a couple of mosaics in the room. I have some photos of my daughter, my husband, and my grandson. I've done some painting. I have a few of those. So just things that mean a little bit to me, bring me some happiness. This big quilt on the wall was made by one of my great-grandmothers, and I never met that great-grandmother. She made a lot of quilts and set them aside for future grandchildren, so my grandmother pulled quilts out of my great-grandmother's stash to make sure that every grandchild had a quilt. And this one is probably at least 70 years old. And I've used it and used it and used it, and again, I decided to put it up so I can look at it and enjoy it. This I just did, and I took a paper piecing class, and I just did this within the last few weeks. So that needs to be finished. And over here, you will see all of the Quilt Guild's AccuQuilt dies are all organized here. I've just recently taken this over from Jan Westerman, and I have all of the dies minus one that I have to locate yet. And then I have down here are the AccuQuilt Baby, and then the AccuQuilt Go. And then I borrowed this cart from my husband because it just gives me one more working space. And then of course my sewing or my ironing table here, my husband made this top for me to go over my ironing board. So it's also a work area that I use. You all know that if you've got a flat surface, you're going to use it as a work area. So this is where I spend a lot of my time, most every day. And the dogs are usually in here with me, as they are now. And that is my sewing room and how I create and where I create. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana, for showing us more creative ways to store and set up our sewing spaces. I challenge each of you to video a tour of your sewing space to show at our February 4th meeting. And here's another idea. that might be worth pursuing. Would you like us to broaden our studio tours to include a walk through your house where you can point out the quilts that are on display and tell us about them? If so, please send me an email after the meeting, not during the meeting because I'm a little busy, but send it to me right after the meeting and let me know that that's something that you would enjoy seeing. And I'm losing my crown. Anyway, we have some upcoming events, but I definitely want to tell you one thing. Right after we do a recap of upcoming events, there is a wonderful video by John from Village Sewing Center on antique and old machines, and we're going to play it for you. And it's fabulous. I've seen it. It takes a little while to view, but it's worth it. And I'd never heard of a violin type sewing machine. So you're just gonna have to watch to figure that one out. But we have some upcoming events. January 21st is our rave day. So get out your project, set up your sewing device like you have today, and set it so that you can see, we can see your sewing machine or your work table or see you, and we can all sew together. You can do any project you want. And Carol Belkey is gonna be with us to discuss her mystery quilt and help us with anything we need help with. So if you want to get one step ahead of the mystery quilt project, guess where you need to look? Go to the newsletter, and she's got all kinds of cutting instructions there for you. And it's also online, but I found the newsletter was just fabulous. So she'll be with us on Zoom on the 21st. To help us with our sew day, and it starts right at 10 a.m. So don't forget, January 21st, Raven Mystery Quilt by Carol Belkey. January 28th is the board meeting. If you have any topics that you would like the board to discuss, please contact me after this meeting or send any one of the board members your ideas. We'd love to keep you informed and entertained, and we need your feedback on what you like for us to do or to show you. So don't go away. John, the owner of Village Sewing Centers in Santa Rosa and Ukiah, has prepared a wonderful video on old and antique sewing machines. And John has been an associate member of our guild for many, many years. So sit back and enjoy the show. You will really learn a lot. And thank you for being here. So Anne, please start his video.